The day you stop being available is the day they finally respect you. Let me say that again. They don't love you. They love your usefulness. And the moment you stop showing up, you become a mystery, a threat, a ghost they can't manipulate anymore. You've been the nice guy, the reliable one, the one who answers every late-night text, who's always just a call away. You gave, and gave, and gave, hoping that one day they'd see your worth. But let me ask you something real. Did they? Or did they take everything and disappear the second you needed them? That's the first rule of this game. People don't respect what they can predict. They don't admire the man who's always available. They exploit him. Why? Because we live in a world wired for value extraction, not emotional connection. People aren't always evil, but they're instinctively selfish. In behavioral psychology, it's called intermittent reinforcement. If you're always giving, you lose power. But if you reward unpredictably, people chase your attention like a drug. Let me tell you about a guy I knew. Let's call him Adam. Adam was the good man. You know the type. The man who shows up when everyone else bails. The man who loans you money even if he's behind on rent. The man who answers the phone at 2 a.m. because you just needed someone to talk to. He was the emotional punching bag, the unpaid therapist, the ride, the backup plan, the emotional boyfriend to girls who called him just a friend until their real boyfriend came back around. He wasn't weak. He was loyal. He wasn't stupid. He was hopeful. But hope, unchecked, turns into delusion. And one day, it all caught up to him. Adam hit a wall. His bank account was empty. His phone was full of conversations where he was the last one to reply, again and again. His body felt heavy, his chest tight. He'd poured so much into everyone else. There was nothing left of him. And that night, sitting in his cold apartment, lit only by the glow of his phone screen, he realized something that felt like a gut punch. The people he bled for didn't even know he was bleeding. Not one person asked how he was. Not one person checked in. Not one person offered to give back what they so freely took. That moment broke him, but also rebuilt him. That night, Adam disappeared. No texts, no calls, no availability. No good morning messages to girls who only liked the attention. No, you okay? Check-ins to friends who wouldn't notice if he vanished. He went ghost, not out of revenge, out of resurrection. He hit the gym, not for selfies, but for war. He shut down social media and read books like The 48 Laws of Power, No More Mr. Nice Guy, and The Way of the Superior Man. He went silent, but that silence echoed louder than all the noise he used to make. Weeks passed, then months, and then they started to panic. The girl who said, "I just don't feel that spark." She messaged him at 1:17 a.m. "Hey, I miss you." The friends who ignored his calls before now wanted to catch up and hang like old times. Even his own family, who only contacted him when they needed something, started showing respect. They spoke slower, gentler, like they sensed the shift in his energy. Because for the first time, he became expensive. He became scarce. He became a mystery. He became unavailable. That's when he realized the greatest truth no one teaches you. People don't change when you keep showing up. They change when you finally stop. Scarcity creates value. Mystery builds fear. And absence teaches the lesson that presence never could. Adam never yelled, never begged, never wrote a long goodbye letter. He just vanished and evolved. And when he came back, he wasn't the man they remembered. He was the man they lost, and the man they could never use again. If you want to flip the game, here's what you do. Pull back, not as revenge, not as manipulation, but as protection of your time, your mind, and your masculine energy. You have to show them, once and for all, you don't get me just because you want me. This is the law of emotional economics. What's rare is valuable. What's common is ignored. What's always there becomes invisible. You need to become a ghost, not emotionally dead, but emotionally disciplined. You stop explaining yourself. You stop chasing. You stop oversharing. And you sit in your silence like a king in his fortress. Here's what they don't teach in school. Power is perception. The moment people feel they have you, they stop trying to earn you. In Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, he says, "The more you are seen and heard from, the more common you appear." Let that sink in. If they can predict your every move, they'll never respect your presence. But if you become a variable they can't control, you become a man they can't forget. People are drawn to what's emotionally dangerous. Not toxic, dangerous. There's a difference. Toxic is uncontrolled chaos. Dangerous is controlled silence. Presence without begging. Masculinity without noise. Depth without oversharing. You want them to never use you again? Then stop auditioning. You are not a sidekick in their story. You are the main character in your own. Every man must go through the fire of being used until he wakes up and becomes unusable. That means you stop explaining why you walked away. You stop posting your pain online for likes. You stop expecting loyalty from people who only loved your benefits. Instead, you go silent. You build. You disappear into your grind. You sharpen your mind and body like a blade. When you return, if you even do, you don't come back to be liked. You come back to be unignorable. Do this once, just once, and they will never use you again. Why? Because now, they don't know where you are. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what you've become in the dark. And that is terrifying. Terrifying to the girl who thought you'd always be waiting. Terrifying to the friends who only called when it was convenient. Terrifying to the people who fed on your kindness like parasites. Because silence is power. Distance is clarity. And the man who once begged for validation now gives them nothing but absence. And in that absence, you rise. So here's your mission. And I need you to hear this like your life depends on it. Go. Ghost. Not to disappear, but to evolve. Not to hide, but to build. You're not running from the world. You're running toward the man you were always meant to become. No more explanations. No more second chances. No more proving your worth to people who didn't even deserve access to you. You go ghost. And in that darkness, you train like a beast. You think like a strategist. You move like a shadow. You rise like a storm that no one saw coming. So when you return, you don't come back to be liked. You come back undeniable. They won't see the good guy they use to manipulate. They won't see the pushover, the helper, the emotional punching bag. No, they'll see something colder, sharper, more focused, more dangerous. They'll see a man who was broken, who rebuilt himself in silence, and came back with boundaries like walls and eyes like fire. Be that man. Be the ghost they fear. Be the storm they regret waking. Because once you do this, they will never, ever use you again.